Hello everyone, welcome to the 7th video lecture of class 8 science. So we are dealing with the second lesson, that is forces and pressure. So in this video lecture we will be studying about buoyant force, pressure exerted by the liquids, Pascal's law and the applications of Pascal's law. So you can see in this picture, so whenever we immerse any object which is floating or partially submerged as given in the picture, there will be an upward force which will be experienced by that object. So you can see one block is immersed in the partially immersed in the water taken in the glass, and there will be an upward force which will be given by the water to the block. So this upward force experienced by the object which is floating or partially submerged is known as buoyant force, and the phenomena is called as buoyancy. So it is defined as an upward force is exerted by water on a floating or a partially immersed submerged body. This upward force is called as buoyant force, and this phenomena is called as buoyancy. This force is not only exerted by liquids but also by the gases. For example, you have seen the hot air balloons, right? So here, why the hot air balloon will be moving upwards? It is because of the fact that the air which is present surrounding the hot air balloon is pushing it upwards. You can see in the picture clearly the buoyancy is showed upwards, which is at the down part. So not only the liquids, this buoyant force is also exerted by the gases. We call liquids, combinedly we call liquids and gases as fluids, because both these liquids and the gases has got the capacity to flow, has got the ability to flow. That's why they are called as fluids. Okay, so but in this we are mainly focusing on liquids. So we need to know what exactly the buoyant force is and what is this buoyancy is. I hope you're clear with it now. Upward force decides whether an object will sink or float. We know that some of the things which we'll be putting in water will sink. Some of the things which we put in water will float. So what exactly determines which will sink and which will float? So the upward force which is given by the or exerted by the water or any liquid in which we are immersing the things will decide whether the object will sink or float. If the weight of the object is less than the upward force, so weight is also a force. We know that it is nothing but the gravitational pull experienced by the object. So this weight, this force, if it is less than the upward force, then the body will float. If not, it will sink. If the weight of the body is more than the buoyant force, it will sink. If the weight of the body is less than the buoyant force, then it will float. You can see in the picture clearly. So if the weight is more, then it will sink. If the weight is less, then it will float. When it is compared with the buoyant force. Okay. So this is what this is about the forces in liquids and how exactly we decide which will sink and which will float. Then the next step after force, we need to study about the pressure exerted by the liquids. So liquids do not have any definite shape. Yes, we know that. The force acting per unit area of a surface on which liquid is placed is called as the static pressure or the liquid of the liquid. So whenever we are keeping the liquid in a beaker or any vessel, we know that this liquid will be applying force on that vessel. So that force divided by the area, the surface area, will give us the pressure exerted by the liquid on the vessel. The force acting per unit area of the surface on which the liquid is placed is called as the static pressure of the liquid. So liquid exert a pressure not only on the base of their container or the vessel, but also on its side walls. So for this to understand, so take your water bottle, just make a small hole, and you can see that the water will be coming out with some pressure. Okay, so that says that water which is present inside the water bottle will exert pressure even on the walls, not only on the base. Or if you tie any balloon as shown in the figure, then also you can see that the balloon will start to bulge, which says that the water previously was exerting pressure on the bottle. Now when it is kept open, it flows through this pipe and it comes to the balloon and it makes the balloon to bulge. That means it is applying force even on the walls. The pressure exerted by the liquid depends upon the depth of the point of observation considered in it. So we know that there will be pressure even on the walls, but this pressure will depend, the amount of pressure will not be same at every point, it will differ. So it depends on the depth of point, the pressure depends upon the depth. So in this figure you can see there are holes made, the 4 holes are made. The upper one, the water coming out from the uppermost hole, if you see, it is reaching a small distance. I mean to say only till here, up to this point. But the second hole, which is little bit down to the first one, is reaching up to little more distance, this much of distance. And then the third hole, which is still more down, is reaching little more distance. The fourth hole, which is the most down part, is reaching the highest length. So that means as you go down and down, the pressure will be increasing, right? So that is what it is saying. The pressure exerted by a liquid depends upon the depth of the point of observation. So the pressure at the region of first hole will not be same at the second hole, will not be same at this third hole, which is not same at the fourth hole. It will depend upon which point you are looking at. Okay. Pressure exerted by a liquid on the base of a container depends upon the height of the liquid column. Okay, in the first one you can see that we have for this we can even do this small activity at our home also. For that you need to have a transparent pipe and a balloon. So we need to tie a balloon to one end of the pipe as shown in the first figure. And what we need to do, first we need to put some water into this transparent pipe, and we all know that there will be a bulge coming out, the balloon will be bulging out a little bit. Now if you add more and more of water, then you can see that the balloon will bulge out more and more. So as the water level increases, the first picture you can see the water level is at this point. So in the second case, when you fill more water, put more water, the water level will be up to this. This is nothing but your liquid column. This is what your liquid column. As the height of the liquid column increases, the balloon will be bulging more and more. So what is this bulging of the balloon representing? Nothing but the pressure. So it is saying more the pressure, more the bulging, right? So as the height of the liquid column increases, there will be more and more pressure we can observe or experience. So the pressure exerted by the liquid on the base of the container depends upon the height of the liquid column. More the height, more will be the pressure. Moving on. Liquid exert the same pressure in all the direction at a given depth. Okay, so for this, take your water bottle or waste water bottle which is lying of no use at your home. So what you need to do is, before filling the water, make 3 holes at the same height. Okay, at the same height, make 3 holes. Okay, take one height and make 3 holes. Wherever on the circumference, make 3 holes. And now fill the water and keep it on the table as shown in the figure. Then you will see that the water will be falling at the same distance. Like same in the previous case we have seen, if you are making holes at different heights, the water will be reaching different distances, right? But we have made 3 holes at the same height, same depth. Okay, so what happens is the water will be reaching the same distance from the bottle. So this says that liquid exert the same pressure in all the direction at a given depth. If you're making different holes at the same depth, the pressure will be same. If you change the depth, then the pressure will differ. Liquid pressure varies with depth. That is what we are trying to say. It will depend only on the depth. If at the same depth you are making several holes, the pressure will be same. Pressure at given depth is constant. As you move away from that depth, the pressure will differ. At a given depth, the pressure will be same in all the direction. Okay, so an instrument is used to measure the difference in the liquid pressure, which is called as manometer. You can measure the pressure of fluids enclosed in a different container using this manometer. So there are 2 openings for this manometer, and it will be containing a U tube. So 2 opening, at one opening you will be keeping it open, and another opening of the U-shaped tube you will be connecting into the um, container which contains the liquid. Okay, so we will be comparing the pressure at point 1 and point 2, which is given as P1 and P2, depending upon the height difference. So this is the gray color one. In the U-tube manometer is nothing but the mercury. So depending upon the pressures at 2 opening, there will be the mercury will rise or fall, and there will be a difference in the heights created. Okay, depending upon this height, what is the height difference between the mercury level, we can actually calculate the differences in the pressure at 2 different points, or two different liquids also we can calculate. Okay, so for measuring the atmospheric pressure we have used barometer. For measuring the differences in the liquid pressure we are using manometer. That is barometer, this is manometer. Okay, so the next one which we will be studying, which is related to liquid pressure, is Pascal's law, a very famous law. So which says that the pressure applied at any point of a liquid at rest in a closed system will be distributed equally through all regions of the liquid. Okay, So you can see in the picture, it's a container containing any liquid. So now what I'm doing, I'm applying pressure from upward, I mean like downwards from an opening which is in the top part. Okay. So when I'm applying pressure, so where exactly the pressure will go, that pressure will be distributed equally in all the direction. Whenever you are applying pressure on any liquid, that pressure will be uniformly distributed in all the direction. Okay, so it is not like in one particular direction it will go more, in one particular direction it will go less. No, not like that. The pressure applied at any point of a liquid at rest, this is very much important. So all these things we are talking is at rest. Okay, when the liquid is at rest, I'm applying some pressure on it, and that pressure will be equally distributed in all the directions. That is what is the Pascal's law. Okay, so this Pascal's law has got various application in our day-to-day life, and this Pascal's law actually made our life very easy with so many application. The first application being in the automobile service stations. In an automobile service station, the vehicles are lifted upward using the hydraulic lift, which works as per the Pascal's law. So we have seen in automobile services this kind of things are used. So the heavy objects like cars and heavy vehicles are lifted. We need to lift the heavy vehicles. For lifting those heavy vehicles, the Pascal's law is used. A small force which is given as F1 here can, when we push this one, this other side, the F2 which is very high will be raised. So there is a Pascal's law principle behind this hydraulic lift. The second application is the hydraulic press, which is similar to that of your hydraulic lift. The hydraulic press is used to make the compressed bundles of cotton or cloth as to occupy less space. So make it very compact, the cotton or the clothes or the bundle of cotton. To make it very compact, what we need to do, we need to compress it. So we need high amount of pressure. So what we do, we take the hydraulic pressure, we apply a small amount of pressure at one point, force at one point, and which will be applying in terms of high pressure at the other end. Okay, this is called as hydraulic pressure. Hydraulic press, which is used for compressing the bundles of cottons or clothes so that it will occupy the smaller area or small space. The next application which we have is automobile brake, which are called as hydraulic brakes. So these hydraulic brakes are used in automobile industries, and this also works under the principle of Pascal's law. So whenever we talk about the principle Pascal's law, we need to know what exactly the Pascal's law states. It states that when liquid is at rest, if we apply pressure at any point, that pressure will be distributed uniformly in all the directions. Then we have three applications of Pascal's law, that is nothing but hydraulic lift, hydraulic press, and hydraulic brakes. So that was about pressure in forces in liquid and pressure in liquid. Thank you.